And so it's like you don't know the time you have to do the thing he's called you to do. It's just when he tells you to do it. My thing is, unless he tells you to wait, do it now.
Do it now.
When should I do it? Unless he tells you to wait, do it now. The 2/3 of God's name is go.
That's good.
2/3 of his name is go. And I think procrastination, which is not a problem, it's a symptom of another problem.
Yeah.
Stress or fear, right?
Yeah.
But procrastination is the result of spiritual warfare. It's the enemy causing people to operate with the assumption that you got more time than you actually have. And so sometimes it's not about the time that you have in terms of the lifespan you have, like, okay, I'm going to pass away before I do this. Sometimes that's not the issue with timing. Wow. Sometimes the issue with timing is the thing that you're creating and launching is needed at a certain point in human history.
Wow.
And when you don't create it for that moment, you miss your window.
You miss it.
And so the thing that God called you to create is not as relevant anymore, or somebody else beat you to something that God had initially called and created you to do.
Wow.
And that's why, I think master classes like this are so important.
Yeah.
And let's go back to that definition of wisdom. A wise person is a person that can understand difference and the difference in a moment and saying, this is my moment.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
This is my moment, not next year.
Right. That's it.
Not 2 years from now. This is my moment.
That's right.
And I need to launch deep now. I got to launch into my purpose so I can prosper now. But that doesn't happen. And this is a whole completely different conversation. That does not happen without partnership. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself.
That's it.
Nobody did it by themselves. Jesus didn't even do it by himself. The first thing he did before he began his public ministry is form partnerships.
That's it.
Watch this. Even Jesus had a coach.
Look at that.
He's the Father. He said, I only do what my Father tell me.
Jeez.
That's what he said. There are miracles he performed that he credited to the Father. Before he performed that resurrection with Lazarus, what most people miss, before he said, Lazarus come forth, before he talked to Lazarus, he talked to his coach. He talked to his heavenly Father.
Look at that, people.
He said,
oh my God.
Father, I know you hear me. He said, I know you always hear me. But so that those that are watching might believe, I want to talk to you now.
Jeez.
Tough times. If it's possible, remove this cup from me. Not my will, but your will be done. So if he needed partnership and mentorship and leadership to accomplish his assignment, why in the world do we think we could do this by ourselves?
That's it.
You try to launch deep without a lifeguard, you might drown.
I'm telling you. You can't do it. You can't do it. And that's hitting relationships. That's hitting people that God has placed around you.
Yes.
And that's so important, because when we look at those 3 slaves, right? They all came from the same field, so they had relationship.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting here with one talent, right? Mm-hmm. And I see you over here, God has trusted you with 5, with more. God has, and somebody with 2, he's giving you a blueprint. He's giving you instructions. He's giving you partners.
Yes.
I mean, imagine what they could have produced if they had partners.
Came together. If the one would have said to the one with the 5, how are you doing that?
How are you doing it?
But here it is. Pride is a purpose killer.
Pride is a purpose killer.
Because he was probably too prideful to ask for help. So he's spending all this time trying to figure it out on his own. You know how many people wasting years doing that? Oh, yeah. This is what my mentors taught me, and we teach others. Mentors and coaches and leaders, they give you speed. That's the greatest gift they give me, speed. They can take decades. They can take what it took them a decade to learn, and they can give it to me in a day.
That's it.
I don't want to learn it in a decade if I can learn it in a day.
Amen.
If you already made the mistakes for me, tell me. I believe you. You don't have, I don't have to learn everything the hard way. No. Can't be your best self by yourself.
Right. And people just, like you said, that pride keeps you from doing that.
Yeah.
I remember when my husband and I started this transportation business, we didn't have anybody, a coach, a mentor, anything. And we learned by the school of hard knocks, lost hundreds of thousands of dollars just because we didn't have that.
Yeah.
But getting somebody that's able to teach you, to coach you. I mean, the knowledge that I have just with the business, 20 years of that.
Wow.
I can sit down with somebody. I can provide you a blueprint, and I know off the bat I can save you 10 years.
Listen, how much is 10 years worth?
Right.
You know,
I know that.
yeah.
Right.
How much is 10 years worth?
Oh.
It's.
I'm telling you, but pride and comparison and all of those things is what stop people, because I truly believe that person with the one talent did that. He did all that stuff, his pride, comparing himself, because he had it right there. He had people that were doing greater right in front of him. But you can't, the whole tagline, pursue purpose, and prosper. You cannot do that with doing it by yourself. That's just, it just won't work. It won't work,
God hadn't designed for it to work that way, and that's God's way, and that's God's plan. Which is why I think, even you doing this is so essential and so important, because even what you're doing right now is you're partnering with people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's it.
People, every time, like, let's say people watching this right now.
Yeah.
And can I tell you what's going to happen after this masterclass?
Yes.
I know what's going to happen after this masterclass. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in this masterclass. You got 3 groups of people.
Okay.
You got one group, which is the average group. They're going to get this information, take notes, and do nothing. They have every intention on doing something. But just like Jesus tells that parable, they got that word, they receive it with gladness.
Yeah.
Weeds, life is going to happen.
That's it.
And they're going to be so busy reacting that they're not going to be purposeful and proactive when it comes to launching to the deep. That's one group of people. There's a second group of people who are going to they're going to do something, they're just going to try to figure it out themselves.
Yeah, that's it.
They driving without a map, building without a blueprint. That's a smaller group of people.
Yeah.
But then there's those that got greatness on the inside of them.
Yeah.
Those that are wise, who discern difference. And that third group of people, you know what they're going to do? They're going to ask for some help.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Because they know they can go further and they can go faster
That's right.
with some help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.